Hey YouTube, this is me again, Shawnee. I don't know. Sometimes there's things that I need to share with you all, and I get busy, But I just want to share something. There's a show on called Catfish, and I really have been thinking about making a video about, you know, what I know about the internet. And I hadn't done it. So here it is. Um, Catfish is a show on MTV where this guy who had this same experience himself and has created his own documentary on his experience with meeting a woman through online dating, and the whole story of what had happened he put on a video, and it is a documentary. Okay. Somehow what was birthed from that is the show Catfish that airs on MTV. It's been weekly. I haven't seen it in a little bit, but my daughter watches it and she tells me all about the different happenings and just about everybody. I don't think there was, she said maybe one couple that it worked out for them. But I just want to say, early on, I got into online dating when the computer kind of, when people were first getting into computers, because I have family members who are really good at it, actually computer geeks, and so I'm blessed to know more, because if you have that, it kind of rubs off on you. And so, I've gotten to a point where I don't pay anybody to open up my computer. Like my daughter's keyboard on her laptop broke, and I unscrewed it, took out the keyboard for the laptop and replaced it. And I think my total that I paid was under $20 to have the part mailed here and change it myself. So, that kind of thing that people, they just lose a lot of money for. I can go in and change my memory, my sound card, anything that it says you can go in there with a screwdriver and take apart, I will do it, because I'm not afraid to do that. And I thank God for my sister, who taught me a lot. And basically, she taught me that if you can read, there's a lot more that you can do computer-wise than you know. And so I was into computers, I would say around 2000, kind of early, whereas a lot of people didn't get into them that early. And because I'm more of an introvert, the idea of meeting someone online was really a good idea for me, because for me, meeting in person is not something that I enjoy as much. So my experience, one of the experiences I had, I don't need to go into detail, but I of course went to Christian dating sites, because I was saved in 97, if you guys remember. And so by 2000 I was already saved. So yeah, I'm going to Christian dating sites, blackpeoplemeet.com and all that kind of stuff. And every now and then I'll go and I'll look, and what I do with it is to analyze, because I want to help people out, because there's a lot going on with meeting people on the internet, and it is a very dangerous thing. And I think what's happening is really wrong. What is happening is that people are emphasizing or putting the spotlight on the dating situations that turn out good, but they don't want people to know, the majority of folks to know. It seems like somebody doesn't want people to know how dangerous it is to actually meet a person on the internet. So whereas we have, let's say, I would say 90%. If you watch Catfish, you could safely say that 95% of the people who meet people online, it's going to be a liar. It's going to be something false, and you could end up dead. Well, let me tell you my two experiences, so I won't get off topic. I think so fast sometimes, y'all. Bear with me. So I have to, go topic by topic, because it's just all coming so quickly. But so my experience was one guy that I met online. he tried to use me, and wanted to start sending stolen goods to my home, and he wanted to send stolen goods, and he wanted me to take half the stolen goods and send them back to him, and my payment for it would be half the stolen goods. And so, but I wasn't supposed to know that they were stolen goods. He just kept trying to give me some excuse why he had to send this stuff to me, and I sent half back to him, blah, blah, blah. Well, come to find out, he was stealing. And what I did was to report, because when I got the items, it said it came from JCPenney, and it said it was paid for with a JCPenney card. So I called JCPenney, and I asked them how I could report, and they gave me the information on how I could report. And, I sent the stuff back, gave some of the stuff to the police, and filed a report and everything. So that's one of the bad things that can happen. You have all kinds of criminals out there, and I could have ended up in a big ring or something if I didn't have, wisdom enough to understand that this wasn't good, The other things that have happened to me is that these men who are supposed to be Christians, instead of getting to know me for the inside, the inner me, some guys within 30 days, some guys within 60 days were asking me, what are you wearing? Are you naked? This kind of stuff, over, chat, And so it was, to me, it was easy to see. But some women, they don't get as offended by that kind of talk as I do. But I know, I'm a holy woman and I'm a virtuous woman. So if someone disrespects me, it's just on contact, I know, no, that he's not from God. And I already know that if you're saved, that you're going to be thinking, it's not because I'm a woman that I'm not thinking about sex. A man who has gone out there and experienced the world, and he's sick and tired of the same things that I was sick and tired of. You know what I'm saying? And he's walking with God, so he would be looking for what I'm looking for. Long story short, it's not about, you feeling sexual or whatever. No, men who are real men of God, and I think they're very few and very rare, they have self-control just like the women have self-control. God gives all of us self-control. It's not just that he gives women self-control. So that's a bunch of bunk if somebody tells you that. So, every time I turned around, I even tried to be nice. There was this one guy in my church, because a lot of people wonder why I'm alone. And this isn't the internet thing, but even a guy in my church who was handicapped, and I was trying to be nice to him, he ended up being really lustful. So, you know what I mean? So if I was interested, this guy has a handicap and he's still lustful. So, it's just so much wickedness all over the world. But here's some even worse stories that I've heard of, and I've been blessed to not have them happen to me because I don't trust the internet anyway, because people make false profiles, yada yada. Two young guys that I used to work with, they went to meet a girl in the hotel room. I saw the picture from the office and everything of the lady, a beautiful girl, 20 something years old. She had her skimpy little underwear and bra and stuff and pictures and beautiful face. They get there and it's a homosexual waiting in the bed under the covers in the hotel room, left the door open for them. Hey, that's the kind of thing that happens. They were pissed off and they quickly got up out of there, without incident, because a lot of times a guy will want to beat the living mess out of you when you do that. But they left because they understand it was their bad, because Miss Shawnee was telling them, you guys shouldn't go. Don't do this. And they didn't listen. They were young themselves. And it could have been worse than that. The worst story that I ever heard of is this guy, his name happened to be Sean. He met somebody on the internet, and he was homosexual, and he met the person on the internet. His mother didn't have anything against him meeting people on the internet. And I think he was only 19. And when I say she didn't have anything against, when they're 19, maybe you can't stop them. But if you have enough wisdom to sit with your children and impart that wisdom to them about the internet and how it's not good to meet people on the internet, then maybe these things won't happen. So at any rate, the worst story I've ever heard was about him, because when he went to New York, he left town and I forgot where he lived, but he traveled to New York and met this guy. And I believe that's how it went, but he met this guy anyway. I believe his body parts were found in New York, long story short. His mother didn't know where he was. They were looking for him. When they found out where he was, it took forever, because this guy actually chopped up this young black gay boy's body parts. And they said the person seemed like they were a doctor or something, the way they did it. Put it in black trash bags and stuffed his body parts in dumpsters, not dumpsters, trash receptacles in the subway station in New York City. So that's the kind of thing. This guy was this situation was on America's Most Wanted at one point years back. So that's how I know about it. So Catfish, man, these people are meeting people through the guy. He does it through video. To me, that's the safer way, because they're checking these people's background for the people, and that's awesome. If they had a service or a system like that, fine. But let me tell you what I would do if I ever met anybody on the internet, which I won't. It's against what I believe. And I think, I'm not the kind of person I don't feel that I'm so desperate that I have to go past something I see as a very unsafe thing to do, go past that boundary to put myself in danger just to have a boyfriend, or to meet a husband, I should say. And in some people's case, it'll be to have a boyfriend, because you're not, you don't believe in what I believe. But so if I'm not desperate, why would I go past that boundary, which I know is a safety zone, just to take that chance? But if you have to, the reason I wanted to make this video is to say to you, here's some things you can do, because a lot of times people don't have that strong sense that I have in me of security. I have a strong sense of security. The people, have told me that I should have gone into some kind of police work or security or whatever, because I have this strong sense. And people will bring, my friends and some of the women in my family, they'll bring their boyfriends to me and say, hey, can you talk to this person? Can you meet this person? Because I have a sense of if the person is lying or not. It's just something, God bless me with strong discernment, so they use me for that. So here's some things that I would do if I were to ever do something like that. First of all, I wouldn't meet anyone in person unless I had a background check. If I did meet somebody in person, I would have to meet them in person at a place like, why not come and meet me at a church function? Meet me at a church function. If you have brothers, father, if you don't, use the brothers in Christ in the church to meet this person. Having men in your life protects you from getting the wrong guy. Another thing you can do is, apart from the background check, is Google them, check online to see about the name of the person, if the person's willing to give you their address information. Find out everything you can about that person's profile online. Like if you looked up Shawnee Wrights or Slimbyfaith, you would see a bunch of different profiles for me, and you could see what I'm doing. You could friend me on Facebook. If you can friend somebody on Facebook, sometimes you can find out a lot of stuff. But some of these people who are criminals, now it's not going to be that easy for you, because they're not going to give you the real name. This is why I'm saying it's not worth it to meet anybody online. So I want to go back to that. A criminal will not give you their real name. A criminal is not going to be dumb enough to give you Facebook. A woman beater might accidentally slip up and do that, and you may be able to catch him in some stuff, by looking at his background, his past, etc. African American women, we're going through something right now because our men are in a bad way, and I know I love me some Mandingo. I'm not going to another race, because it don't interest me. I have nothing against anybody but my taste. Like, I prefer, I might prefer strawberry flavor to orange flavor drink. You know what I'm saying? Back in the day. And that's true. I would prefer strawberry, right? So I prefer, dark berries, in a man. And that's just what I like. So it don't have, and I've tried the other, and it's like, it didn't, the flavor wasn't for me. So anyway, long story short, I just want to get to the point. But I love all people. I have all kinds of friends and everything. But, our men is in a bad way. Our people is in a bad way as far as how to love each other and really be in friendship with one another and things like that. And you know what? So women are, our women is being desperate right now. But I'm asking you, ladies, don't be desperate. Just do things the right way. Also create a separate email account. I think Steve Harvey, he had a show on last week too, and that was a good idea that they came up with. If you meet somebody online, let it be a totally separate email account. God forbid something should happen to you, but you ought to give the password to that email account where you're communicating with that strange person, to your sister, or maybe two different people that you really trust, family member, friend, whoever. And like I said, background checks, before you lay down with people, get blood tests. Things is just messed up now. It is what it is, but you know what? The good old fashioned way is the way to meet someone. You want to meet someone through your family and friends, which is the only way I'm willing to meet anybody. You meet them through your family and friends, because that way they can say, oh, this is Chuck. And I known Chuck for 30 years. I known Chuck for 40 years. This is Chuck's background. Oh, this is how Chuck is. This is what he likes. This is what happened between him and his other girlfriend, his ex-wife. You see what I'm saying? You got a whole history that come through people you trust, and people you trust are not going to introduce you 9 times out of 10 to somebody they don't trust, So that's some things you can do. Christian ladies out there, be careful. There are snakes in the grass that go to Christian dating sites, and they go there purposely to meet wholesome women who don't go out and sleep around or any of that. But they also know we have good hearts, and they think they're going to get in your house and lay up on your sofa and all of that. And some guys used to think back in the day, but they had it twisted, that I thought I was, because I'm big, I'm going to take anything. And no, my children had told me, my son, and this is a beautiful thing, once told me a couple years ago, he said, I forgot that you were fat. I forgot that you was a big woman. And I said, what do you mean by that? He said, well, the way you carry yourself, you're so confident and you don't have low self-esteem like most big women do. And I don't. Because I know I'm still beautiful. I'm struggling with, back then I was struggling with an addiction that I've broken now. And I have all my worth. I have the worth in my brain, the gifts that God gave me, and, whatever else he gave me that I'm worth. But it's, I'm not worth less to go in, men be thinking that, I heard some women, they expect big women to do things, sexually that other women wouldn't do, to not be vulgar on video, without being vulgar on video. I'll say it that way, because they're heavy. And I heard all kinds of stories. So that's why you guys don't see Shawnee with anyone, because if he ain't of God, it's not happening. And I've been by myself for 16 years. During that time, I gave their father, I think, a second and a third chance, and it didn't work out. He, still doing his thing. Being unequally yoked just didn't work, So other than that, I'm not going to settle when these guys keep trying to talk to me about having sex with me, and I'm saved. And I've done that. I have 4 kids. I know what it's like to have sex in every way. I know what it's like to be approached by gay women, all of that. There's nothing you can come to me with no curiosity like I'm some little dumb kid. So I just don't have time for it. And I'm willing to stay by myself and wait for the best, rather than put myself, down by settling for less. You know what I'm saying? So you guys should love yourselves that way, God loves you that way. So don't do that, Be careful with the internet. There's a whole lot that you don't know. You can create a fake profile. I've created a fake profile before and went on my kids' internet and, just to see if they would accept my friend requests and things like that, just to teach them. so that they could see, you know, this is what's going on, you know. This is what's really good with the internet. You don't know who you're talking to over the internet. Yeah, be careful, guys, with the internet. And if there's any more tips or stuff I can share with you, just check out the description if there's anything I think of, okay? I love you all. Be safe this year, you know, with the internet, guys. I mean, one of the things about YouTube, I'll say, I'm going to add this last thing. If they aren't making videos and they're trying to talk to you, then you have no way of knowing who it is. I make videos all the time. You see me day in and day out, you know. Some people show even more in their videos. They show their whole house and their family. So you know what you're getting into if you start communicating with that person through your address or your phone number, okay? That's why I communicate with certain people on YouTube, because I know them by now. I've come to know them through their videos. They show their family. They show what's going on. That's the only other way I would say get into even a friendship. And I just have girlfriends on YouTube. I don't have no guy friends on YouTube. That's a no-no, okay? All right, ladies, please don't be desperate. I love you all. Stay blessed.